The Qronge Thunder arrives as an unassuming but solid offering in the fat tire electric bike category, immediately signaling its practical, bent through a straightforward frame design and unadorned finishes. At a modest $799, it stakes its claim as a low-cost, no-frills 26-inch fat tire e-bike built for riders who value function over flash and who might enjoy tweaking and upgrading rather than settling for a factory-perfect machine. Its simplicity is part of its appeal. The thick 4-inch tires, a single-piece handlebar, and a straightforward Shimano 7-speed drivetrain all reflect a rider-first ethos, inviting those with a bit of mechanical curiosity to make small enhancements over time. The bike's raw looks may not turn heads in a showroom, but out on the winding mountain roads, its rugged stance and beefy tires convey confidence where it matters most. Alright, let's get this thing unboxed. Unboxing the bike is straightforward, and all necessary tools for assembly are included. First, I removed the packaging straps and opened the box by carefully removing the tape and pulling the box free of the staples. Then I laid the box down. I slid the e-bike out carefully. Stand the e-bike up and remove all zip ties and protective foam, revealing the Qronge Thunder e-bike. Install the handlebars by loosening the bolts on the bike stem, centering the handlebars and rotating them to align with your preferred riding position before tightening the bolts securely. For the front wheel, loosen the bolts of the protective bar on the front fork. Add the front wheel and tighten the bolts to ensure it is secure. The pedals are clearly marked for the left and right sides, matching the pedal stems. Screw in the pedals and use a wrench to further tighten them easily. Install the front headlamp by loosening the bolts on the fork brace, attaching the headlamp and then adjusting its orientation to face forward. Alright, let's take this thing for a ride. Riders venturing into North Georgia's rolling foothills will find that the Thunder's 1200-watt peak motor, delivering around 110 Nm of torque, offers respectable grunt when the route tilts skyward. Paved climbs feel manageable even under a heavy load, and when the asphalt gives way to gravel, the motor maintains a steady pull without lurching or cutting out. The cadence sensor keeps assistance smooth, matching pedal effort with just enough power to keep momentum without feeling artificial. In the absence of a torque motor, power delivery isn't razor sharp, but the bike's natural momentum and the tire footprint combine to mask minor hesitation, so acceleration feels cohesive whether you're rolling from a stoplight on a country road or navigating a series of loose gravel switchbacks. Battery life on the Thunder is governed by a 48-volt, 15-amp-hour removable pack seated neatly within the down tube. Though marketing materials suggest a maximum range of up to 70 miles, real-world experience along mixed terrain routes, from chipseal climbs to undulating gravel lanes, yields something closer to 35 to 50 miles per charge when relying heavily on pedal assist levels 2 through 4. Detaching the battery requires minimal effort and a simple key turn, making off-bike charging convenient for those without a dedicated garage outlet. Track-style front suspension featuring a basic coil fork softens the worst impacts on rougher surfaces. It's not an air-adjustable or high-end unit, but it absorbs potholes and roots with surprising composure, reducing hand fatigue on longer rides over broken pavement or gravel-strewn farm roads. Settling the preload to match rider weight prevents bottom out on harder hits, and though the travel is limited compared to mountain bike forks, it strikes a functional balance between cushioning and pedaling efficiency. A slight rebound delay can make rapid succession bumps feel damped, but dialing in a firmer setting or even upgrading to a lockout-capable fork are straightforward modifications for those inclined to tinker. The wheel and tire combination is undeniably the Thunder's hallmark. 4-inch wide fat tires on 26-inch rims float over soft sandy patches and chew through muddy tracks where slimmer tires would fling riders offline. On paved switchbacks, the wide footprint translates to grippy, predictable turns, though it does require a more deliberate steering input than a standard city bike. The tire sidewall construction strikes a heavy compromise between puncture resistance and pliability, meaning riders feel surface irregularities without risking pinch flats at moderate pressures. Despite its 80-pound curb weight, the Thunder feels remarkably planted. Its low-slung battery and hefty motor bulk centralize mass between the wheels, fostering a sure-footed sense on loose gravel descents. Straight line stability is excellent, and while hairpin turns demand a wider turning radius than a nimble city commuter, the trade-off is confidence rather than twitchiness. At higher speeds on paved stretches, the weight works in your favor, smoothing out small ripples in the road and reducing the jitters that plague lighter e-bikes when pushing beyond 20 miles per hour. Stopping power comes courtesy of mechanical disc brakes, front and rear. Lever pull is on the firm side, but the two piston calipers clamp down reliably, bringing the bike to a halt even under full load or when descending steep gravel hills. The lack of hydraulic modulation means riders must be mindful of lever pressure to avoid choppy stops or rim rub on very wet days. Nonetheless, maintenance, bleeding, pad swaps, and cable adjustments is straightforward, and those with a garage full of tools will appreciate the simplicity. Gear shifting via the Shimano thumb-activated shifter works well enough to handle load changes while climbing, and swapping in a higher-end derailleur or a clutch-equipped unit down the road presents a clear upgrade path for enthusiasts. Given the Thunder's component selection, gradual customization fits naturally into its DNA. A rider might start by fitting a lock-on style handlebar grip and tightening the handlebar clamp bolts with a calibrated torque wrench, then apply a dab of medium-strength threadlocker to keep everything snug. Over time, one could add a build-quality suspension fork with external damping adjustment, swap in a more precise hydraulic brake set, or upgrade the stock saddle to a higher density foam or leather model. Even replacing the throttle mechanism with a finger-style remote is viable given the exposed cabling and standard mount points. The bike's electrical harness is modular enough to accept aftermarket displays or more sensitive sensors, should the builder wish to refine power delivery later. Assembly out of the box requires some attention to detail. Wheel skewers must be aligned, brake calipers centered, and the headset preloaded correctly to avoid wobble. A quick check of spoke tension ensures that heavy tires remain true, and a small increase in spoke tension at the rim can ward off loosening under torque. Riders are strongly advised to torque all handlebar-related bolts, stem, riser, clamp, brake levers to manufacturer recommended values, and to add a drop of Loctite on each fastener. Skimping on this step can lead to looseness that not only degrades steering precision but also introduces safety hazards on rough terrain. With a handful of metric hex keys and a torque wrench, pre-ride preparation takes less than 20 minutes and delivers peace of mind for miles of trail, because no one likes having to repair their bike on the side of the road. Ultimately, the Qronge Thunder delivers an honest, workmanlike ride in North Georgia's varied terrain. On winding paved roads, it holds lines with steady predictability, and on loose gravel, it tracks true without fishtailing or hesitation. It won't match the refinement of high-end trail bikes or the quick response delivery of torque sensor-equipped machines, but it doesn't pretend to. Instead, it offers a robust platform for exploration, with enough power and range to keep adventures rolling well beyond the parking lot. And for those who derive satisfaction from gradual upgrades, the bike's basic architecture encourages hands-on tweaks rather than quarterly trips to an authorized shop. For an entry-level fat tire e-bike priced at $799, the Qronge Thunder strikes a practical balance of durability, off-road readiness, and a clear path for upgrades. Nothing about the stock build screams premium. Components are basic and the finishes are plain, but the chassis is stout enough to handle North Georgia's winding paved connectors and washboard gravel without complaint. It rewards a patient setup. Take your time on assembly, align the wheels, center the calipers, and really snug down the cockpit. I torque the stem and handlebar clamps carefully and add a drop of medium strength threadlocker Loctite to the stem faceplate, lever clamps, rack mounts, and fender stays so they don't creep loose after the first few miles of rough road. A spoke check and a quick retrue of the front wheel are worth the extra 10 minutes, and I like to recheck all hardware again after the first couple of rides. As you start piling on longer days in the North Georgia mountains, where chipseal buzz, braking bumps, and gravel chatter add up, this is also where I make my first comfort upgrade, a suspension seat post. Even a modest travel post sized to the frame takes the edge off repeated small hits the basic fork won't catch, keeping hips and lower back fresher when the loop stretches past an hour. But overall, the Qronge Thunder is a cheap, no-frills 26-inch fat tire platform that doesn't try to be fancy. It still gets the job done, day after day. Thanks for watching, and if you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and join us on this electrifying journey. This is Jeremy Vinny, signing off. We'll see you on the next one.